Good morning, everybody. This is the first day of my cycle tour around Iceland. And today I am going to be cycling from here. This is a great pointy stick, by the way, which is Vogar. I'm staying at a campsite and I'm going to be going through Reykjavik and then staying at a campsite somewhere near here, which is Mosfell. It's only a short day, about 50 kilometers. And that's basically because I landed yesterday and I just want to make sure the bike is in good working order. So I will give you some clips from the road and some commentary. Speak in a bit. So, day one of the Iceland bike tour. And being day one, there were a lot of new routines to get used to, one of which was switching the camera on and then remembering to talk at the same time, which I totally didn't do on day one and probably on day two. So as a result, I put this commentary together afterwards to go with the video I took on that day. To be honest, the cycling on day one between Vogar camping through the outskirts of Reykjavik and then on to Mosskogar campground, well, it wasn't so spectacular anyway. It followed a few bike paths where possible and the main road when there were no other options available. And I was navigating using the Komoot app, which proved to be pretty good overall, although later on in the tour some of the maps were a bit dated in the Westfjords. Anyhow, making this commentary, it gives me a quick opportunity to tell you briefly about my bike setup. And as you can see, I've got the traditional bicycle touring setup of panniers front and rear, a handlebar bag and a rack pack. In addition to that, there's a Brooks feed bag as well. Now there's 101 ways to go bike touring or bike packing, but this is a setup I prefer overall. I'd say most of the cyclists I saw during my time in Iceland had taken the racks and panniers approach as opposed to the bike packing route. And I didn't see one trailer or recumbent bike being used for touring during my time in Iceland.
So right over there, I think, is my first sighting of Reykjavik. Over there.
The bike I'm riding on this tour is a Thorn Nomad 2 with a roll-off hub, and it's a chain version rather than a belt. The bike's over 10 years old now, but it's still going strong. So if I decide to get a new bike, I'd probably go for the belt option. But for the time being, I've got no problems with this bike at all. And on this tour, not one issue, not even a puncture. As you can see from this clip, I'm cycling along the main road here between the airport and Reykjavik. There are some bicycle paths, but in places it is unavoidable, you just have to get on with it. Fortunately, there is a wide shoulder for most of the journey, and a little bit later on you cross the road and then there's a bike path which leads you into Reykjavik.
So I found a little bike path that starts at an aluminium plant, kind of just starts randomly, and you have to cross the busy road to get to it if you're heading towards Reykjavik. But fingers crossed this will take me all the way in and I can get off that busy road.
Take the next right.
Just as there's 101 different ways of doing a bike tour, there's also 101 ways of making a video about the bike tour. And the type of video that I'm going to make is like a chat from the saddle type of video. This should give you a chance to see what the road conditions are like, and then later on in the tour, when I get more into the swing of things, a few insights into what's going through my head at the time, for whatever that's worth. Anyway, back to today's ride. The idea was that this was a little warm-up ride really, just to make sure the bike and my legs were all working okay. Everything went really smoothly, and I ended up in the Mosskogar campground in the early afternoon. I'd heard that there's a lot of leftover food and gas bottles from previous campers at the campgrounds closest to the airport, and this was the case here. I scored a ready-to-eat meal and a can of Spam. Okay, it's not gourmet stuff, but thank you very much, that'll do nicely. And in the evening I camped in a small pocket of grass next to some trees. Trees became something of a rarity further into the tour, so it was good to see some trees at the beginning at the very least. All in all, a successful day's ride. Day one of cycling in Iceland was complete with about 3.5 hours of actual riding. 53 kilometres in total, and a total ascent of 350 metres. Then really I just spent the evening with my feet up, chilling and eating. Thank you very much for watching this video. You know what you've got to do with the like and subscribe buttons and all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers for now.